My name is Mauricio Mayorga Torres. Okay, the first thing I want to say is that Latin cultures, and Costa Rica is no exception, we are more people oriented. Relationships are important. A good leader, focuses on people, not necessarily on tasks or procedures. Leader does both, but the main focus of leadership is people. To work with people, how to work with individuals, how to work with teams. So in that sense, advantage for leaders, here in Costa Rica, we like to relate with people. We like to talk to people. We are open. We smile. Our distance, how people relate with one another, and in positions of leadership and power and hierarchy. In our culture, the distance is greater than, for instance, in the Dutch culture. So that means, in practical terms, that means that more hierarchical, and everyone knows, who is the boss is here, and I am here. So people who are in a leadership position or a leadership role, they exert that power. So people look up to them because they are the leaders. And in a way, we are a more equal society. We Costa Ricans consider ourselves like we're all the same. That's an idea we have in our head. Although in the organizations, we still have the hierarchies. Yes, we feel that we're all equal, but when you work in an organization, you're not as equal. One of my first times went to Holland, and I went to a bank. Surprised that the banks were very small, and then the person who was at the desk, was just right there, like you and I talking, right? There was no barriers, no glass windows, no walls. And I was like, wow, this is a bank in Holland. It's very different. We have, big offices for the boss. A way, when you go into a building, and this is important in leadership, when you go into a building, a public building or a private building, just the way things are set up, how things are built, it shows you about the culture and about the leader. It shows you what they value. Going back to the hierarchy thing, like if you go to the bank here in my town where I live, go in, there is a guard, a security guard, and then you have all the employees, and the cash tellers, and you have the windows, they're closed in, you have cameras looking at you, and then you can see the big office of the boss. Very different than my experience in Holland or even in the United States, where it's more open. So the way the offices and the space, the floor space is set up, tells you about hierarchy, tells you about leadership. It tells you how people relate with one another.